Okay. Now, the fuel subsidy, I know that there was a lot of issues surrounding it then, but how can it be brought under control with the support of Nigerian ship owners in the country?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've seen where the cost, where there are a lot of leakages, and I wish the Ministry of Finance and the CBN can actually step in and actually talk to Nigerian ship owners a lot more, and then they'll find out that they can actually reduce their cost. I take the first instance. The first instance is that, the central bank passes a regulation which says that all vessels, all imports must be done from outside Nigeria. Without that, you cannot import products, which means you cannot get foreign exchange. So what is happening now is that all importers of petroleum products are having to send their mother vessels to Lome. Now, what happens naturally on the back of that is that if, as a Nigerian, I want to buy a product because I want to meet the CBN regulation, I send a vessel from here, from Nigeria, to Lome as a daughter vessel to pick up from the mother vessel and come back into Nigeria. That is an additional cost. So I do not see why CBN cannot move and say, okay, let all products, mother vessels, come into Nigeria, and then if it's in Nigeria, we take that mother vessel being outside Lagos anchorage as being in an international vessel. What that does alone, it reduces the cost of one vessel going to Lome and back by almost $80,000. Now, naturally, this begins to be a spiraling cost. Once we begin to take that off, it reduces. In addition, then we can begin to look at the issue of offshore storage and begin to find a way to reduce the cost. I can tell you one thing. It's easier for us to take charge of our logistics. The problem we have in the subsidy, as far as I'm concerned, has to do with logistics, because I found that it is cheaper for us to bring a product from Europe to Nigeria than it is to move a product from outside Lagos into Lagos ports.
Why is this so?
Because of the congestion. Because what's happening is that once the NNPC gives licenses and CBN opens a letter of credit, everybody rushes to Lome to go and load their product, and everybody comes back at the same time. So of course, all the jetties cannot receive the product at the same time. So what you do, you find out vessels are sitting at the anchorage, waiting 5, 10, 15, 20 days to come in to discharge their products. So what is happening is that somebody's going to pay for that. And definitely the oil market is not going to pay for it. So what it's going to do is going to put it onto the cost of the product, which is part of the subsidy issues we are facing.
All right. Now, the national question, you talked about us not having our indigenous ships to carry their own flags in terms of discharging and moving of our petroleum products by sea. Now, how do you think this can be addressed? Should there be a legal framework backing the fact that indigenous ship owners should be able to be deeply involved now in the movement of petroleum products in the high sea?
Well, sincerely speaking, the law is already in place. I think it's an issue of confidence building thing. And then I think people need to believe that Nigerians are capable of doing what it needs to do. I don't see what it takes to be able to move up petroleum products from Europe into Nigeria. There's nothing spectacular about that.
Are there issues of capacity?
It's issue of capacity, but issue of financing, because definitely the challenge we face is that if for anybody who wants to acquire a vessel right now, he needs to be able to show a contract. So look, any business, it only needs a commitment saying, look, I will give you the right to import petroleum products or take out my crude on a crude swap basis. Now, very simply, the ship owner can go back and work out exactly what is being shipped out and what is being imported, and he can be able to determine a kind of a cash flow. So with that, he can be able to acquire vessels. Now, he doesn't need to acquire a vessel on cash basis. He can go acquire a vessel on a bareboat hire purchase, like you can lease a vehicle. You can do exactly the same kind of things. But the problem we're facing is that there's a lack of confidence in the ability of Nigerian ship owners to do what needs to be done. And I can tell you one thing for sure, with Nigerian ship owners I know, and what I have seen, I believe that they have the capability. We need to encourage our own. That is my own issue.
So take a step back a little bit in terms of what happened in 2013. Yeah. Stakeholders, according to what I have here, have outlined a number of issues that they think should be addressed to enable the maritime sector move forward. They should see piracy still been identified as a challenge, a big challenge at that. Midstream discharge, we have the issue of pollution, the non-passage of some key maritime bills, especially the Port and Harbour Bill. We have Transport Commission and the amendment of the Cabotage Act.
Well, we have to start
the
all
sea
over
piracy
again. Okay,
issue.
the sea piracy issue is a major concern. And I think we can zero down the issue of where sea piracy is coming from personal experience. I think we can narrow down where where ship owners are having challenges, and I think the challenges is coming from the 5 degree east, which is going towards the Escravos side, and then going just after Brass area. and then coming into the Port Harcourt area. Those are the areas where you can have sea piracy. I can even tell you, 3 days ago there was an attack 200 nautical miles offshore Nigerian waters. So you can see they're going quite far, you know, and then also they're chasing. But the pirates, like I always say, they're not ghosts. They're human beings, and they're coming from shore. So it is not only for the Maritime Administrator to deal with the issue of piracy. There must be some ground intelligence to also support whatever is going to happen, because these guys are taking boats from shore to actually go on land. So there has to be a collaboration between the local intelligence agency, which are on ground, which have an identity, and also that. And also, they are working hard. I must commend them, because Lagos, it has drastically reduced, and also in Port Harcourt, and also the issue of entrance is coming in. And I can see a lot of things happening as it relates to vessels being cleared in and out by the Nigerian Navy and Maritime Administration. So I must commend them. They are putting an effort, but there's a limit to what they can do. So the piracy issue is going to take its time, but it's a collaboration between the shore officers, which is the intelligence on ground, and what is going on outside there. But it has to do with the whole segment of economy. I mean, sea piracy is just armed robbery at sea. I call it armed robbery at sea. So we have to drive the police on shore to capture those guys who are actually doing those things out there.
Are they living up to expectation, the security officials, in this regard?
Well, I will be very sincere with you. Their response time is getting a bit reasonable, because what happens, the IMO requires that every vessel must have a SSAS, which is a ship security alert system. So the moment any pirate has been attacked, you know, once the master presses that button, there's a release of an alarm system that goes to everybody, including IMO, and everybody knows that this vessel has been attacked. So what we need to do is to tie in, because it also releases immediately the coordinates, the GPS coordinates of where that vessel is and what is happening. And immediately there's a constant communication with that vessel. So what needs to happen now is the Maritime Administration with the Navy having that information, because then they can engage immediately. So, but I understand that they are working from different zones now where they can actually engage this kind of thing. But it's going to build up. All of us, slowly by slowly, we can do that. But over time, it will come out. But I would say they are making an effort, but it's not an easy task. I mean, patrolling 150 nautical miles of water and those kind of stuff with all the amount of traffic we've seen, it's not an easy task for the Maritime Administration. And we must commend them for the little they're trying, the best they're trying to do.
Does the issue of intelligence come to bear here? Do we use intelligence information? Because if those who go on the sea to attack it from the shore,
we have to. That is
do they employ that at all?
Well, that is what I don't know, but I'm hoping that there's going to be a collaboration. There's a need for every intelligence, because really these guys who do this thing, they plan these things from the shore before they go out. And also, it's also based on information, which means somebody on board the vessel is passing information to somebody at the shore. But these guys have good radio, so you can actually track these things. You can actually follow these things. And most importantly is, well, when these boats are moving out, they can be tracked. I mean, each boat can be registered. We can know who you are, what you are. But I understand the MASA has launched a radar system, which hopefully will also allow them to know exactly everybody moving within the water. So slowly by slowly, I think we'll begin to understand the kind of terrain we're operating, and that will give them the ability to push a lot better.